well enough to know what your score is going to be for certain games.
Oh, that's not entirely true. I mean, I gave Mighty Number Nine a C grade because it's
I
not
consider it a
terrible.
mess.
It's not great. Well, because most people who judge that movie, I mean that game, most people who judge Mighty Number Nine, the reason they judge it is because they don't like is because they got mad at Keiji Inafune and what he said.
I consider the controls more atrocious than what he spoke of.
Like,
Pepperoni pizza explosions. That's all I have to say.
well, I mean, it's like this, okay? It's like this, okay? And I had to learn this because I review, on a professional level, I review movies for my local newspaper. Like, even if you don't like the director, even if you don't particularly like the movie, you have to go in with you have to fall on a rubric that takes as much of your emotional opinion about something out of it. So for me, that means falling back on certain rules and measurements and a rubric that's like, okay, does it do this? Does it do this? Does it do this? So if I'm watching a horror movie and I have to review that, I'm like, okay, is the movie scary? Does it have characters that I get some type of payoff in them dying? Because a horror movie, there's going to be people dying. It's just, do you actually, are they following tropes? Is it too tropey? And so, I tried to be as objective as I could. I was fair, but then I beat the game, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. Like
It's funny that I can actually see.
I couldn't.
With you for
I couldn't lie. I couldn't talk myself into giving that thing a higher score because that would be I would be intellectually dishonest to myself.
That's the thing. I wasn't. I was only wonder. I was just wondering that at least you'd be able to give it a score that is at least not based on the series, but as the game itself.
Believe me, my objective review is me scoring the game for itself and not looking at it as as part of the series.
I question that, but
no, because a game for itself, it has some technical issues that holds it back. It's because basically the guy who made the game, the guy who's the overall director of the game, said that it's an adventure game with the Paper Mario aesthetic, which I'm cool with. But the thing is that no, there was no Echo Kirby. The thing is that it kind of falls like. Basically, the way the game is designed is kind of like, okay, like the combat is easier than it was, is harder than it was in Sticker Star or Color Splash, because they brought back time to attacks and special attacks, but none of the time to attacks with special attacks and items is explained, so it's like it's just trial and error type thing. Now, there may be an electric, because no one gives you a fucking manual anymore, everything is online, but
I blame on the generation as a whole.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. But the fact that they don't even tell you about that, when previous games, even the ones I don't like Sticker Star and Color Splash, did explain shit like that. They explain the time to attacks for your attacks, but not for items and shit like that. You don't have time to attacks for your special attacks, which in this game, your elemental summons are called Velementals. And basically, the only thing that happens with that is that you knock an enemy out in a wave battle, they drop an icon, and you press a button, and you use your special attack, and it wipes out all the enemies doing massive amounts of damage, and that's your special attacks, and it's like, okay, but like I don't know who this game is made for because the aesthetic is like, okay, this is for a casual audience. The simplicity of the combat, this is for a semi-casual audience. But then they have the puzzles, which some of the puzzles are really easy. Some of the slide puzzles are like if you aren't a very intelligent person, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
I was about to say more like somebody that's not paying attention or is too too drunk on some tequila.
No, no, no. Some of these puzzles, like I said, some of these puzzles are very easy. Some of these, like, here's the thing: if you're gonna have a puzzle before combat that people have to solve, the puzzles have to be to where once you solve it, you have to be like, okay, that seemed kind of hard. I figured it out. Accomplishment. Some of these puzzles are just
Really?
like really. This is not like when you solve them. It's like this is not. This was easy. This is just like unnecessarily. Like here's the thing. Okay, I played a lot of puzzle games, so for me, I'm not like, oh my god, this is impossible. But you know, I've talked to people who bought this game for other people in their families, who got review copies, and I'm like, they were like, yeah, they found this difficult. So I'm like, okay, like it's not very well scaled for the audience that they're going for. The actual structure of the game kind of holds it back because enemies don't get stronger as time goes by. There's no real power creep because you don't really level up in the game. Like the only way you really become more powerful in the game is by finding heart pieces, and that's like kind of like a hit or miss proposition. If you're a completionist, it's easy. If you're someone who just wants to blaze through a game, every battle's gonna feel like a life or death struggle, which is not gonna make it fun for people who aren't into playing games like that. So I mean, it's a mess of design choices. It feels like they were doing two different things. Yeah, it feels like they were doing two different things at the same time, and it just didn't. Like the design choices didn't jibe well together. The game looks gorgeous. The game has generic Paper Mario music, you know. So that I can't really like. It would be weird if a Paper Mario game had shitty music. It would be weird if a Paper Mario game had shitty graphics. So those are givens. It's obviously going to have that. But on the other stuff, but that only gets it to halfway, which would be like, you know, a basic. It's a game. But then, because of the bad design choices, some of the baffling combat choices, some of the character progression is kind of loopy. Like I can't be sitting there and let that pass. Especially when you've had 3 games to kind of get better over time with this, to get better at this game, at the design of this game.
If I have anything, I usually make this caveat, and it's probably already known to many. I usually do not judge any game by graphics or sound because it's in the eye of the or ear of the beholder.
Well, I mean, to be fair, for me, it depends on the genre of the game. Like, I'm not going into a Tetris game expecting, oh man, look at those graphics. But you know, certain games like Legend of Zelda games have always been graphically and had pretty good graphics, great music. That's just, you know, it's like it would be, you know, it's like you going into a 2D Mario platformer and you're like, man, like you wouldn't expect the physics engine, i.e., you know, the jumping and stuff like that, to be trash in a 2D Mario game, because it's an inherent part of what a 2D Mario game is. So like I don't expect a Paper Mario game to have trash graphics and trash music. They all have good music. They all have good graphics. I mean, it's hyper stylized, but that's the nature of the game. So like I'm not gonna count that as a strength, because it's like you saying, man, this car has wheels and tires. Every car has wheels and tires.
Which is why I consider music and graphics.
So it would be kind of weird if it wasn't there. Like that would be what?
Are we live or is this?
We're live.
Okay.
We didn't do our introductions because Jewel was attacking me for my, in my estimation, a fair review.
To be honest with you, I called it right on Wednesday. You would give it a low score.
You can call whatever you want to, but I was very fair with my review. Now, to be fair, during being objective about it, like, did I want to go into the things that bother me with the game? and like go into like how it made me how the game felt like a chore to get through. Um, I wanted to, but I didn't because I'm like, that's my opinion. That's me being subjective. But you know, now that the review's over, there's parts of that game that are just like people like. I remember before this game came out, and people they were doing like little like preamble like preview reviews for it, and seeing people say, well, you know, this means there's not going to be any grinding. There's grinding in this game. There's tons of grinding in this game because if you like I said earlier, if you don't get heart pieces to increase your damage output because you don't really level up, there's no experience. You're gonna be like you're just gonna be running into enemies and fights all the goddamn time. You're gonna be grinding a lot in this game. It's whatever. But anyway, we got a good show tonight, even though we started kind of to the end. We're getting to the intros late. I guess we can begin with the lady first. Go ahead, lady. Introduce yourself.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome to the BS Stars Movie Podcast. I'm Joy. I'm a star. And oh god, now I got a headache thanks to you, Red.
All right, Kanoshi.
This is Kanoshi Abominito. Here to say, wow, I didn't know Paper Mario was that much of a sensitive topic around here. I guess that's the second sensitive. Pokemon and Paper Mario. That's
Look, man. Look, I'm not the one who was sitting there having an aneurysm about the shit. Kirby, go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hello, this is Curry3, aka TS Nintendo Gamer, aka Mario Poke Nerd.
Well, it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. Okay, so, anyway, I'm not going to go further in on it. I did a 2-part review of Paper Mario Origami King. It's an okay game. It's not great. It's not terrible. Right now it's retailing for like $60. I got it at Walmart for $50. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened, but I got it at Walmart for $50. So y'all do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I guess I've been spoiled with games, so anytime I see a $60 game, any game for $60, like, yeah, that's too much.
I mean, I'll be fair. Some games, I would say yes. $60, that's the AAA price. This game doesn't really feel like a AAA game. So, like, I actually don't feel that $50 is I think $50 is a fair price. I think 60 is a little bit too much. But, you know, look, you're lucky if you can get a Nintendo game these days under $60. So when I saw it was 50, I was like, look, I ain't going to say shit to Walmart if you don't, and bought my shit and left. So I got a 2-part review. Part 1 is a very objective, just the merits of the game on the technical aspects.
Well, I'll extend it. Usually if it's a Nintendo first-party game, I usually want them like, yeah, I'll pay 60 or 50 or 60.
But, yeah, but if it's like third-party, yeah. I think most third-party games aren't worth $60. Like FIFA, FIFA's not a $60 game. It's a $30 game with roster upgrades. And then I have the second part of that review, which is just my kind of opinions on the game and how I feel about the overall franchise. So with that being said, I guess we can get to some of these stories, because we do got some stories. So we'll be covering Microsoft's reveals for their event this week. We have a healthy debate on where the Paper Mario franchise is going and how we feel about it. We have some RPGs. Some of our old school second tier RPGs are getting spiritual successors from some of their original teams, or people who just really love those games. And of course, the unpopular opinion segment. So let's get into. I guess we do the Microsoft reveals first. So anyone hear about some of those Microsoft reveals?
Yeah, I thought it was alright. I enjoyed the Halo.
Halo Infinite?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
people are like, man, this looks terrible. I'm like, it looks stylized. I like it. It looks like a throwback to the Xbox One, to the original Xbox era graphics, actually.
Yeah, I'm not like a huge Halo fan. I mean, I'm fond of it. I played it when I was
Younger?
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, and I was just kind of like, hey, this looks like a higher resolution, higher graphical version of
Halo
what
1
I
and 2.
remember on the
Yeah.
Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, y'all might not know this about me, but I actually am a huge Halo fan. Up to like Halo 1, 2, and 3. After 3, I was like, okay, I'm tired of this story. So I don't know, like I didn't play Halo 4. Well, I played a little bit of Halo 4 at a friend's house. I was like, I don't like this. And Halo 5 can go suck a dick. So
Yeah, people hate
I'm
that
not
game.
surprised.
like I don't like either of those Halo games because first of all, Halo 3 should have been the end of Master Chief's story, and they should have done had a new protagonist. And they tried to do that with Halo 5, but they turned Cortana into the villain. It was just like it's
Probably
just
one of the dumber things you ever heard.
yeah, it was kind of a fucked up design choice. But
It's one of the one of those things where, you know, the writers real life can't really get into the story because apparently the person who was writing Cortana was having problems with their mother because her mother was going through dementia, so that's why Cortana was acted the way she acted. So it's really weird.
all right, so
Yeah, I thought some of the things I heard from other sites were weird.
I mean,
enjoyed that.
oh, go ahead.
So I also enjoyed Halo. I enjoyed that Psychonauts 2 trippy trailer. That was pretty neat.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely gonna have to be a seizure warning at the beginning of that game.
Either that, or they're gonna say this game is also really good if you take 2 tabs of LSD before you start playing, because it's really gonna pop then.
I was wondering if there was gonna be some LSD tabs for
reviewers.
for reviewers and pre-order bonuses. And let's see, that DLC makes me want to play Outer Worlds. That
Yeah.
looks interesting, and as well as the Gunk. They're actually making a 3D.
Yeah.
The SteamWorld guys are making a 3D game.
From Image and Form, yeah, and it's not a SteamWorld game, which I'm kind of bummed out about because I like that world they built in the SteamWorld franchise. But I mean, maybe once they get this engine down, they can make a 3D one.
Yeah. So that looked interesting. It kind of reminded me of kind of looked like a 6th gen game, in the way of it's
Like a Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, it looked like a Ratchet, like the way the character model looked and whatnot.
Dinosaur Planet type thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of stuff from 6th gen.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a AAA game, but here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with AA. Like, I don't know why everyone thinks every game needs to be a AAA game experience. Here's the thing, though.
I think it's because that they want to say that this is the highest quality possible.
Well, I mean, that's not what bothers me with AAA pricing. It's that there's some games that clearly are AA or even single A, and they're charging me $60. If a game isn't, if you didn't put the effort, the resources into a game to make it a AAA game, don't charge $60. Make it a $39.99 or a $49.99 game. Yeah. It's not a $60 game. It's not a $60 game. Not every game needs to be $60. There really they need to bring back that mid-market pricing, like between $29 all the way up to like $49 for gaming.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with lower budget games. In fact, a lot of times the lower budget games are pretty good. Sometimes there are lower budget games which I walk away saying I would have paid more for this.
Yeah. So that's my opinion. I know some people are gonna get angry. I know some people are gonna be like, "How dare you?"
Your mileage may vary.
But that's how I feel.
Well, I thought the games were slightly more interesting Oh, shown at the Sony press conference.
Yeah, but I mean,
No.
that's like Sony. Sony is a paper tiger at this point because everyone's always like, "Man, Sony did this," and it's like, did they? Did they though?
Look, it's it's worse when I think about how many people hype up Sony as the best there is.
You know,
And
I
sure, there's fanboys on all sides, but still, it kind of it kind of makes me chuckle a little when hearing how things are rolling downhill with Sony.
I mean, to be fair, like here's the thing: people bought a lot of people that bought PS4s bought a PS4 because it was the thing to buy, not because it really had a lot of great games. Now, I'm not saying there aren't good games on the PS4. You know, there's that Spider-Man game. There's you know, the huge library of old school shit that you can buy on there. Like there's old shit, there's some cool shit on the PS4, but by and large, it's not like, oh my god, this is the best shit ever. You know what I'm saying?
Kinda.
You know, that's where, you know, I mean, because I mean, let's be fair, and I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear this, but I don't really care. But Microsoft fucked up the eighth gen, like, and they never recovered from it. And Nintendo didn't recover from their fuck up either with their eighth gen console. But well, I mean, look, you can cringe all you want to. Look, listen, you can't hide from the truth and turn your face. You gotta look at shit in the eye and say, this is what happened. Let's keep it moving. So Microsoft fucked up. Nintendo fucked up. Here's the difference. Nintendo said we're gonna try with consoles again with the Switch, which is a hybrid console. It's a hybrid console handheld. It's basically the Switch in terms of its design philosophy and what it can do and what it does in the market is like a super Vita. It basically does everything Sony wanted to do with the Vita, but they didn't have the balls to pull off. Nintendo said, "We got the balls to do it." That's what the Switch is. It, like, you know how the Vita could, like, the old Gen 1 Vita, you could hook it up into your TV? The Switch does that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You can take it on the go and do all types of shit with it. The Switch does that. Now, I'm not happy about that because, you know, I wanted a home console and I got a hybrid that doesn't really do either thing well. Like, it's not as portable as a dedicated handheld, and it's not damn sure not powerful enough to run certain games the way a home console would. So to me, it's kind of a disappointment. But look, sales-wise, it basically hit that niche of people who wanted a really powerful 3DS. They wanted a more powerful Vita. Nintendo gambled into that niche, and it got suckers like me who wanted a Nintendo home console. So, I mean, look, it's doing well. Nintendo came back from that fuck up. Now look, the Wii U is my favorite 8th gen console, but sales-wise, it was a fuck up.
You keep on saying that Wii U's a F up, and yet you prefer more things from the Wii U than the Switch.
Yeah. Just because something's a fuck up doesn't mean I can't love it. Hey, haven't you ever seen those movies where they got the lovable fuck up? That's the Wii U.
Name's Kettle.
It's the lovable fuck up. It's like, oh man, but basically the Wii U's like Screech from Saved by the Bell. It's Steve Urkel.
Sorry, I never was a fan of Saved by the Bell. I tried to evade watching that show.
It's Carlton, the lovable. No, Will in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air was the lovable fuck up. Yeah, listen. Lovable fuck up doesn't mean I don't like it. Lovable fuck up means that it didn't meet sales projections. Games that should have sold really well on there didn't, so Nintendo had to basically retool everything. It didn't get the support it deserved. It was by those metrics, it was a fuck up. Now it made money. It didn't lose money for Nintendo, but it didn't do nearly what it was supposed to do. So it was a fuck up. I love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite of all the 8th gen consoles. It is my favorite 8th gen console. To me, the Wii U is better than the PS4 and the Xbox One. But whether or not how I feel about it is immaterial of what the actual reality of the situation is. And the reality of the situation is that the Wii U was not an abject failure. I'll tell you what was an abject failure. The Xbox One was an abject failure because it lost money and it never got market share back. So much so that Microsoft hasn't reported sales numbers for the Xbox One after the second year, I think. They just stopped reporting sales numbers. Which tells you something, okay? It's like when you're a kid and you know you're fucking up in school, so you hide your grades, your report cards. If you're hiding your report cards, you fucked up. Okay? So I give Nintendo credit because they knew they were fucked up and they actually were like, look, this is what happened. This is what, because I mean, like I said, you can't get better if you stick your head in the sand and ignore the problem. You can't. And Nintendo addressed it. They basically doubled down on the Wii U and detached it from the console. They said, hey, you don't like the gamepad? Well, here's a console that's only just a gamepad. Fuck you. That's what Nintendo did. I think it's hilarious. But that's just me. So that being said, are there any other games someone saw at the? You guys are forgetting one major thing that was announced at the Xbox conference, and yes, it was just a trailer, but that was also really cool.
Fable?
Yeah, Fable. Fable.
Yeah.
Fable! I'm a Fable fan, so I was actually quite happy about that. And Peter Molyneux's not involved with it, so maybe this time they won't overhype the shit.
I question that, especially if Molyneux's still around.
Well, Peter Molyneux doesn't work at Lionhead Studios. Lionhead Studios doesn't exist anymore, so like he's not involved. The team isn't involved.
There's a hope.
Well, I mean that.
I said there is a hope, but I didn't say there's a lot of it.
Well, the thing is, you're talking a lot of shit about it, but have you ever played the Fable games?
I was saying, I tried to play. I tried to actually sample one of the games.
Which
Fable
one? Oh yeah. That's not a good representation of the rest of the franchise. Fable 1 is a lot of really good ideas, badly executed.
Yeah, that's likely where my hope is, and saying that I see there's hope in there. I'm just not sure how much is there.
Yeah, Fable 1 is a lot of really good ideas, poorly executed. Fable 2 is a lot more refined. Believe it or not, Fable 3, even though people hated the ending of the game because basically the ending is kind of a gut punch to that game, but Fable 3 actually has the most refined combat system and gameplay mechanics. The thing that hurts the Fable games every time is that Molyneux and his team at Lionhead would basically overhype their games, and then like the game would only deliver about 60% of what they promised. Like that's the problem. But here's the thing: you got to sell your product. You can't.
There's selling your product, and then there's No Man's Sky.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but would you trust someone who was making a game if you asked them, well, what's your game like? How good do you think your game is? And they're like, it's a piece of shit. I'd be like, shit, man, why are you downing your product like that?
Earthbound tried that stunt.
Not really. That was them trying to sell it on gross out humor, which was popular in the 90s. But I mean, they didn't say, "Oh, it's terrible." You got to hype up your product. I think Molyneux goes too far and underdelivered. But I mean, hell, I would rather, like I said, if you're gonna make a game, I'd rather you aim for the moon and hit the stratosphere, or go above a mountain chain, than aim low like EA and just still fuck up. So.
Yeah, as I said, there's hype, then there's No Man's Sky. I could at least put
Yeah,
that in perspective.
but No Man's Sky was them just lying to sell the game. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Fable was shown. It was just a trailer. Let's see what else was shown. Oh, they showed Avowed, which is a first-person RPG. It's Obsidian's next game, next new game, not an expansion, and it's set in the same world as Pillars of Eternity. So they're basically making like a Skyrim type game in their Pillars of Eternity universe, which I'm quite happy about. I don't know about you, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Hopefully they make a better Skyrim game than Bethesda.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, everyone's been outperforming Bethesda's shitty ass games.
I was about to say that's a low bar, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a very low bar. I mean, I think we can all agree that it's kind of like I was in a PC gaming forum and someone was like, well, you know, Bethesda's making this. I'm like, yeah, but like modders have to fix Bethesda's games. And they're like, but their games are so huge. That's not an excuse anymore. That was an excuse 8 years ago when Skyrim came out. Or not Skyrim. Yeah, when Skyrim came out, you could say, well, the game is so huge that a certain amount of bugs are inevitable. Now you've got The Witcher 3. You've got Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Games that have just as much shit going on where you're not falling through the floor, you're not entering buildings and the game crashing. So that is not an excuse. I don't think.
I was gonna say, if anything, that we got 3 games of Bethesda's that had to be patchworked in order to be playable.
All of them?
I was going to list 73, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and 76.
More than that. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. In order for you to really enjoy that game, you have to do a super patch to make it good, to make it playable. Then Oblivion, a super patch. Made by modders, not by Bethesda, to make the game playable. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, same thing. Fallout 3, same thing. Fallout New Vegas, well, that was made by Obsidian, but it was used, the engine was Bethesda's engine, same thing. Fallout 4, same thing. Fallout 76, I mean, like, Bethesda has this history of putting out broken-ass games that modders have to fix to make them playable. And that's not cool. Like, if you went to a restaurant, right, and your order was so fucked up, and then the person next to you, sitting at the table next to you, is like, hey, I can take that to my house and fix it for you. Why the fuck go to a restaurant if they're not going to cook your shit properly?
Now I got a song stuck in my head.
That makes no sense. It literally makes no sense that games are coming from Bethesda. And this is just a Bethesda thing. A lot of companies are doing this, where they're coming out with games, and the games are broken, and they're like, well, this game is broken, we'll fix it. That's not my job. It's not the modder's job to fix your broken-ass games. Kirby Lover 03...
Could you imagine?
No, go ahead,
Imagine
Kenoshi.
buying a brand new car, and then, it breaking down, and say, well, looks like I gotta fix it in order for myself to use it. You would take your car back and demand your money back.
Either that, or because it's under the warranty of the if it's a brand new car, it's under the warranty of the dealer, which is itself an extended warranty of the manufacturer. You'd say, look, this car, this brand new Mustang, I drove it off the lot, drove it down the street, it broke down, fix this shit. And they have to do it. Not with Bethesda. Some random person on the side, oh yeah, the brand new Mustang, take it to my house, I'll put it on cinder blocks and fix it for you. No!
Yeah, the song "It Just Works" runs perfect with that, with the fact of knowing Bethesda just says it just works.
That was Todd Howard. that was Todd. It just works. That fucking hack.
Oh, yeah.
What were we gonna say, Kirby?
Nothing.
Yeah. So Kirby says he liked the Paper Mario, the Origami King so far, but the bosses are hard. I mean, I didn't find the bosses too hard. It was more like, except I found one of the early bosses hard. It was,
The ground turtle?
no, not the ground turtle. Because once you figure out how to beat the ground turtle, it's not that hard. It was the boss after the ground turtle. I mean, not after the ground turtle. The Firebird boss was annoying. That boss got on my nerves. Not the Firebird boss, the water dragon. The water dragon, I was like, I can't. The water elemental was tough for me. But aside from that, the bosses haven't been too hard. But I'm just gonna admit, I used a walkthrough to beat the bosses. I used a walkthrough for some of the tougher bosses because I'm not gonna sit there and pull my hair out trying to beat a boss. I'm just not gonna do it. Because the bosses aren't a puzzle. They're like, well, we're gonna make the boss fights a puzzle. They're not a puzzle because it's like well designed. It's a puzzle because it's like, man, I gotta slide this shit around in order to get to do this. And like should I use 1,000-fold arms or should I use a Velemental in order to attack this boss? And they give you no clue. As a matter of fact, they do give you clues. You gotta find these envelopes on the slide panels. It's so lazy. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Bethesda used to make. I don't think Bethesda ever made good games. I think Bethesda made games that were ambitious but never really reached their full potential. And then the modding community came through and said, "Oh, we'll fix your games for you." And now they have like a free wing of unpaid developers who fix their games for them. But that's just me. Anything else anyone wants to say about the Xbox conference before we move on to the next segment?
Yeah, I'll say something.
No, go ahead, Kirby. You're new. Go ahead.
I want to say that the Xbox conference was like kind of good, but I had the same problem most people had with it, where like there was not enough gameplay, and there needs to be gameplay for like new IPs. Like I really don't know what the game's gonna be about if it's just
a trailer.
A trailer.
Like that rare game, Ever Eternal or whatever it's called, where it's like, I don't know what this game's about.
Evergrow.
Nice art style, but what's going on?
What are these hippies smoking a lot of weed, bringing animals back to life? This is what this game's about? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't understand what's going on here. I get what you're saying, bro. I get what you're saying, dude. So yeah, I agree that they needed to show more gameplay, but I mean, like some of those trailers did have gameplay. Like Psychonauts 2 showed gameplay. Halo Infinite showed gameplay. Avowed didn't show gameplay, but it's an Obsidian game. Obsidian makes good games, so I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt for some things because, you know, some of my favorite games that I've ever played, like Western style RPGs, were made by Obsidian, so they earned kind of like, okay, I'll give you trust because you've made games that I love. So like, even though they didn't show gameplay, I'm like, well, I mean, like The Outer Worlds was good. Fallout New Vegas is one of my favorite games. I love Vampire the Masquerade. I love KOTOR 2. So, like, 4 of my favorite games of all time were made by Obsidian, or people associated with Obsidian. So it's like, I gotta be like, I give them a pass on some shit. I know that's not cool, but That's not object. That's not being objective. But you know, if you have a past history of delivering good shit, then I gotta, you know, I there's a basis of me thinking that the next thing you're gonna deliver is gonna be good shit too. Anything? Anyone has anything else they want to say about the Xbox thing before we move on to the next topic? Nothing. Okay, then we can move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an aside before we move on to the next topic. Dragon Quest 11S is being ported over to the PC and the PS4, and I think maybe the Xbox.
Not surprised.
To no one's surprise. But the good thing is that it'll be it's $40, so it's not going to be a $60 game. So yeah, I might get it on PC. Yeah, I know some people are like, why did you get it on the Switch? Because I don't want to play that game on the Switch. So graphically, and plus if it's on PC, it'll probably be really nice. Plus I can download a trainer and cheat my ass off.
Exactly.
I already beat that game, the base game on PC, and I did it without cheating. This time I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna cheat my ass off. I'm gonna give myself maxed out stats. I'm gonna give myself and play the 2D version. So there's that little bit of news. Some other news. Suikoden 1 and 2, the writer and creator, Yoshitaka Murayama, is doing a Kickstarter to develop a new JRPG that is essentially a Suikoden game. So Konami wouldn't give us a new Suikoden, so the guy who created the first two games like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And they also have on the team the guy who did Suikoden Tear Cries, Suikoden 3, 4, and 5, Suikoden Tactics. So basically, you know, like they're getting the band back together, Blues Brothers style for Suikoden.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of like having 5 to 6 characters on a team and a main character who wields a weapon that isn't your prototypical, I wield a sword, because like every other RPG, the main character wields a fucking sword. It's so boring. This game.
Yeah, we need to have a JRPG where the main character wields like the ultimate gun or something like that.
Well, they tried to do that with Final Fantasy VIII with Serge, Virgil, forgot his name.
Yeah, but they gave him a freaking gun sword, which makes no logical sense.
And it's also not a very good weapon, but that's the
I was gonna say that's Squall, and yeah.
And look, he's so forgettable. I just attached the name to him, you know. Serge, Virgil.
Like, I don't care if it is fantasy. You know, there's a point where it's like a meet me halfway game. Meet me halfway.
Could you meet me halfway, please? Could you just meet me halfway? No, we can't. I mean, that's what I kind of liked about Suikoden was that it always kind of did. It always had its own thing going on. Like how they did magic was different from every other game. The protagonists weren't like, I wield the legendary sword. Like I think in the first game, your main character wielded like a pair of tonfas or like 2 Kali sticks or something. In the second game, it was like a 3 segment chain staff. Like they were all every Suikoden game, the main characters always wielded some type of weird kind of like different weapon than what you would normally anticipate in a Suikoden game. In this game, apparently, you're gonna have two main characters. One character is wielding like these 2 kind of like I don't know, like these weird like baton things with blade hooks on the end. And the other character's got a sword, but I'm interested in this motherfucker with these blade hooks. I'm like, damn, how you gonna attack with that? So
maybe like those what are those ninja claws called? Maybe a main character having something like that.
Kunai with chain.
Yeah, it always has to be a sword or something. It's so cliche. It's almost beyond cliche.
It's typical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like this guy is using like tonfas combined with like little tiny kunais. It looks cool. The Kickstarter campaign kicks off Monday, so I might give him some money because, I mean, it has a black female character in there who doesn't like, because you know a lot of Japanese games with black people in them, the black people look bad. This one doesn't look bad, so I might go with it.
Yeah. Usually, if they do any other race besides white, they usually look pretty good. They look kind of weird.
They look kind of fucked up. Not weird, fucked up. It's like I've been around black people my entire life. And I have never seen black people that look like that.
Yeah.
What about that Kickstarter for Mario RPG? We're going to talk about that later, right?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. As a matter of fact, that's going to segue to the next thing, which is there's a Kickstarter for a group of people who are making a. They're calling it Another Crusade, and it's basically heavily inspired by Super Mario RPG. You know, that good old-fashioned Mario RPG that began it all with time to attacks, special attacks, Malo, Mario, Bowser, Peach, Geno. Those are all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Shit looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope it's easy like Mario RPG.
Mario RPG. Yeah, Mario RPG is a little easy, but you know. Oh God, I'm looking at the trailer for it. It literally does look like. It looks like a next-gen Mario RPG.
So what's it called?
It's called Another Crusade.
Kind of a bland title, but could work.
No, I'll probably kickstart this. Because, you know, if Square Enix and Nintendo won't get their shit together and make a Mario RPG 2, then damn it, I'll let indies do it. Fuck it, I ain't got time. I got time. Look, it's been over 25 years at this point. If they ain't gonna do it, then...
I was about to say, I wouldn't trust Square Enix.
Listen, okay? If they ain't gonna do it, okay? You know, if they ain't gonna make a Mario RPG with Square Enix, and Nintendo ain't gonna make a Mario RPG, they've been doing Paper Mario, and arguably you could say there hasn't been a good Paper Mario, and well, that's Alpha Dream. Alpha Dream is, I think they went out of business. So no one's made, and Mario and Luigi isn't really like it's not the next evolution of Mario RPG. So. You know, this game looks pretty good. It looks like these characters are like little puppets and shit like that. It looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks like they really did kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Progressed.
They copied it.
It looks like they really like Super Mario RPG. So much so the story looks like they just ripped it off of Super Mario RPG. I mean, if you're gonna steal from the best. That's what I say.
Well, I hope they make a different story.
Well, I mean, obviously they're gonna have to because I mean, they can't. I mean, it can't be a one-for-one ripoff. Like I was playing Bug Fable, and Bug Fable, aside from its graphical style of being basically like Paper Mario 64, aside from the graphical style of that, plays like the story is drastically different than what you had in a Paper Mario game.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. I like the characters. I like the time to attack enemies. Except that game, like Bug Fable, gets fucking hard towards the end. That game is not easy. It like the end character, like Paper Mario games, even the like some of the best ones, towards the end of the game they get kind of easy. Not this game. Bug Fable gets hard at the end.
I was gonna say, it's probably the fact that some people are tired of playing it outright straight for hours, but
No, Bug Fable gets hard because just the enemies hit harder. You're like how many badges you can equip and how high your health can go, like maxes out at a certain level. Like the way your health goes up is by equipping badges. You don't level up and your health improve that way. So it's
that's
like
a little uneasy.
yeah, resources are at a premium. So it's like you got to learn how to fight. You have to learn time to attacks and how to fight well, how to use special abilities, how to replenish your health, how to like, have the right shit in your equipment bag so you can attack enemies and heal yourself. I mean, the game gets really hard towards the end, and there's optional bosses that the first time I beat that game, I didn't even get through because I was like I tried to fight one and it kicked my ass royally. Like Bug Fable looks like Paper Mario, does not play like Paper Mario. It is hard. It is really hard. In terms of difficulty, some people don't like that, but I like a challenge sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes you need to get a little bit. You need to get a little bit rough.
Dirty.
Yeah, it's good to have some challenge.
I was about to say, I thought you were going to something a little more perverted, but okay.
No. I could have said something, but I'm trying to keep it PG-13, except for when I occasionally curse for emphasis. Our next topic is, we all know where the Paper Mario franchise is right now, so I'm not gonna harp on it or continue to drop elbows on it and everything like that. Instead, I will ask everyone here, and be detailed if you can, about if they had the reins of the franchise and they could create any Paper Mario game they wanted with no restrictions on characters or anything like that, what would they do? Story, characters, battle system, sky's the limit. Who wants to go first?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here goes. Personally, I usually am looking forward into the action systems of the game. So, if anything, seeing them actually go into the paper aspect of the series, as in Paper Mario, I consider it a good plus. But they could actually try to emphasize it more into the combat, like. If you're going to have timed attacks, have it so you time it right, then you can actually make yourself into a literal weapon or hammer or boot, and try to actually do a lot more damage that way, or at least try to make it more like trying to make it where if you use certain moves and make yourself into a certain object, you can actually do more damage. So then again, this is somebody that's actually trying to look forward to have it progress. So for story, I'm gonna be honest with you. The buddy system that they've shown so far, it only allows you to get extra hits. I mean, for one thing, I could agree with Red Fox on this point that they could have had the partner thing work like Thousand Year Door. Instead, they just have it like a little extra ally that basically hits them after you hit them back. And if anything, have each partner have their own story, like how some of the
Past ones did.
Yeah.
All right.
So, if anything, I do kind of like the humor of how the color splash did. Since if anything, I actually got some laughs trying to work with some of those characters.
I got a few chuckles. I got a few chuckles myself, but I wasn't rolling on the floor laughing. I was more like, that's lame.
Lame? Come on. Everybody's Everybody's a comedian.
Well, I mean, it's not so much that. It's just like, okay, like some games will have me roll on the floor. Like that's legitimately funny. But some
Yeah,
of the
I was-
jokes, like some of the jokes in the Paper Mario games, and this isn't just like Color Splash. This is all of them. They're so lame. They're like dad jokes. Like I can't.
I was trying to
I'm not
say
gonna be
that-
rolling on the floor about a dad joke, unless it's a dirty dad joke. But there's very few dirty jokes in Paper
Yeah,
Mario games.
I was trying to at least say that if anything, that I actually enjoyed some of the humor from one of the Paper Mario series. I was hoping that it could be
Continued?
expanded on. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, good for you.
I mean,
Anything else before we move on to the next person? Or,
I was about to say, unless everybody else have their own round of go on.
Yeah. I thought it'd be a good idea to try and make a good story with just original Mario characters just to see how it would go. Like I think that's what Shigeru Miyamoto wanted, but like
it failed miserably. They tried. It didn't work.
the producer of Paper Mario decided to just do a lot of other things wrong.
He needs to produce his ass. He needs to have a foot produced up his ass for thinking that. Like here's the thing. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with trying different things, but if you're being ambitious, but if your execution sucks, which in this game the execution is not good. Like I get what they were going for. They're like, well, we'll handicap ourselves. If you're making a game and you're intentionally handicapping yourself in order to create creativity, that's like getting into, because look, I practiced Muay Thai for 7 years, from the age of 15 up to 22. Okay, that's like me getting into a match in Muay Thai and saying, I want to make this interesting. Let me tie one of my arms behind my back. Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you handicap your team for making a
Excuse me for
game?
actually saying this, but here's the thing: is it easier to write something on an open topic or with a specific topic made specifically for this one time?
I don't think I understand what you're trying to say, Joel. But the thing is that you're using an analogy which is not analogous to the situation. It's like someone saying type of paper, but you can't use commas or a parentheses or the letter H.
I said topic.
No, I get what you're saying, but this isn't a topic issue. These are key.
You're shooting your foot here, buddy.
These are key components that are completely taken out of the game. For what reason, I don't know.
So you're comparing a topic to the main key points of a paper. Okay.
I'm comparing making a game. I'm comparing making a game and saying that you cannot, like, basically you can't use characters that are outside of the scope of the base universe is the equivalent to basically saying you can write a paper but you can't use commas or parentheses.
I'm sorry, but you shot your own foot there.
You're needlessly making your shit difficult for no reason. But that's just me. You know, that's my opinion. I could be wrong. It's been known to happen. Let's see. That's my opinion. And opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah, the bank of public opinion is still out on that.
Well, at least everyone should have one. I mean, I guess there's some people who are born without assholes, but that would be a terrible, terrible condition. Because if you're born without an asshole, that means eventually you'll be full of shit. Much like people with no opinions. Yeah, that's why I use that analogy, because it works with the payoff. You know, people with no opinions, much like people with no assholes, are full of shit.
Silent reviewers, or at least the ones on IGN.
I mean, you know, I'm not ultra against IGN. I think some of their reviews are bullshit. Like, okay, if you give a high score to a game that clearly by any metric is not good, like how IGN gave a high score to Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age 2 is bad. Even after the fact, people were like even people who gave that a good score were like, yeah, I shouldn't have given that game a good score. Because it's not a good game.
Artifact with that one, personally.
What, Artifact? They gave Artifact a high score?
Yep.
I never
And
played
the audience-
Artifact, so I don't know anything about it.
Let me just say, I had to look at Artifact and say, really, you're putting a $20 paywall on a card game that is trying to be like Hearthstone.
Yeah, I've never played. I don't really play card battle games on PC or console. I kind of do it every once in a while. You know, the only card game that I'll play on PC is
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Slay the Spire.
no, the only yeah, but Slay the Spire is a single player game. Like card battle game that's based on a trading card game. The only trading card game I'll play, PC trading card game I'll play is what's it called? I'll play
Pokemon trading card game?
no.
Oh!
No, I actually, if you ever played the Game Boy Color version of the Pokemon trading card game, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'll play, what's it called? Shit, I forgot the name of it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! On Steam is actually pretty good.
I'm surprised. You actually play Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, I got back into it, because I used to play the trading card games on PC.
Huh.
I mean, not on PC, on Game Boy Advance and DS.
I play Yu-Gi up until the 5Ds era.
So, anyway, Kenoshi, I guess you can give your breakdown of that particular game if you want to.
What game is that?
Basically, well, never mind because you weren't paying attention.
I was looking at the trailer. Super Mario RPG. RPG game. Looks pretty good.
I guess Kirby Lover, I guess you want to give how you would make your Paper Mario RPG if you were in control of the franchise.
What I do is, I don't know yet, to be honest, but I'm thinking of something for a Mario and Luigi game.
You'd make a Luigi. You know what? Actually, that sounds like a good idea.
I mean, a Mario and Luigi game. Like, I'm thinking, like, of a good story.
Oh, okay.
Like, maybe Mario and Bowser once again allied, because, I'm thinking this should be, like, one of the last Mario games, if they were to make a last Mario game, and I was thinking that maybe, like, Bowser Jr. gets kidnapped, and Mario and Bowser have to team up, and then Mario and Bowser make a truce.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
I mean, I did that with my Mario plush videos.
I remember that. I don't know, how could I put this? I mean, that sounds interesting. That's all I'll say. It sounds interesting. I guess I'll give my thoughts on it. If I had control of the IP and I was in control of the designing team and all that shit, here's what I would do. I would make a Paper Mario game, but I would have it do a play. I would not have Mario be the main character. Anyone here played Thousand Year Door?
A little bit of it, yeah.
Well, in Thousand Year Door, there's this segment of the game where Luigi goes on his own adventures.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me if you remember all those.
And they sound like his adventures sounded so much more interesting than what you were doing, because like basically like he'd go on his own adventures to save the Desert Kingdom, and like he had his own partners and everything, but it was always like a disaster. Like there was a blooper who fell into some lava and got fried, so he was like all like cooked and everything.
I was about to say, you remember that cooked calamari, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I was like, man, that'd be awesome. And
It makes me want.
there was a
I really
buzzy
wonder.
beetle with like a instead of a spike on his back, he had like a wrench, and he like made like carts and shit. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And I thought to myself, I said, self, wouldn't it be cool if
To
there was
find
a
out what happened to Luigi
if there was
while
a
you were
Paper
at
Mario
Harport.
game? No, fuck Mario. If you made a Paper Mario game, except the main character isn't Mario, Mario isn't in the picture. Mario gets to stay home, and it's Luigi's adventure. Paper Luigi.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have an idea. How about Mario's the final boss in a Paper Mario game? Like, in the old Paper Mario games, Luigi and Peach were the final, sort of.
Maybe in Paper Mario, maybe Super Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Luigi he wasn't a final boss. He was a boss. Um,
He
but
was
that's
controlled.
because he was brainwashed or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. But like, here's the thing: I think the Paper Mario games are at their best when they bring new characters to the party, and when they go to areas that are outside of the Mushroom Kingdom, and they don't have Bowser as the primary villain. Because Bowser's the primary villain gets old. It gets really fucking old. Because Bowser's the main villain in the main Mario games. It's double billing. Like, there needs to be new characters and new villains. I'll give Origami King that much credit. It does have a new villain. It's not just the same shit over and over
I was
again.
about to say, Bowser got dethroned yet again as a boss, and
Well, I mean, it's not that he's getting dethroned. It's just if Bowser's the main villain in the 3D and 2D games, why the fuck should he be the main villains in the RPGs too?
I'm just saying that if anything, it's kind of a hilarious fall from grace.
I mean, Bowser's kind of a loser as a villain anyway. He's not a very good villain, so it's not really surprising that he wouldn't, you know.
Yeah, but if anything, I at least hope that he gets a boss, not the final boss, just a boss.
Well, that's what happens in Thousand Year Door. Like, he pops up and you kick his ass a few times, but really the real boss is the Dark Queen. But anyway, his friends. I mean, the final boss in Thousand Year Door, you fight like a possessed Princess Peach.
Yes.
But I don't think that counts because possessed Princess Peach. It's not like the character
Yeah.
herself. It's like in Twilight Princess, you fight a possessed Princess Zelda. That doesn't mean you're actually fighting Zelda.
Yeah, because if anything, it'd be kind of odd fighting the one that you're trying to rescue.
Yeah, but it happens in those games because they don't care. But with that being said, yeah, but that's my thing. Now that you know what we're doing, what would you do if you had control of the franchise?
Well, I guess I would.
Kadoshi?
I guess instead of, mainly aesthetically, I guess instead of paper, they'd either be made of like toy parts or clay. Story-wise, I'm not sure what I would do to the story, but
That'd
I
be
guess,
cool.
one aspect of the story is, of course, Bowser wouldn't be the villain. It'd be somebody else. And I guess the plot is another princess from another kingdom, for this universe, another kingdom that was jealous of Princess Peach and wanted to kidnap her and take her over her own kingdom out of spite. You gotta stop this other princess for taking over the Mushroom Kingdom, something like that.
All right, that sounds cool. Uh, I like the idea of having a paper game where maybe it's not maybe your characters are paper, but then the enemies are made out of clay, so it's like claymation. Like maybe for like bosses, like not only do you have to destroy their clay bodies, but like maybe there's a core inside of them of something that's like you got to destroy. So you got to destroy their clay bodies and then destroy what's inside of them. I think to me that sounds cool. Than just the prototypical what they've been doing for years and years and years. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I know some people get mad when you say that. How could you say that? Yeah. It's like I like different shit. I'm sorry. It can't be the same shit all the time, but don't deviate too much from the formula where it turns into something different. But that's just me. Okay then, so we got a little bit of time and we move on to the final topic. Unpopular opinion. Unpopular opinion. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead. Oh, wait a second. Let me explain how this works if you are unaware. In unpopular opinion, you have 60 seconds to state and defend an unpopular opinion. As in defend, as in give a reasonable explanation as to why you hold this opinion. You have 60 seconds to state it and defend it, and then we can come in and argue after the 60 seconds. Let me get the clock ready. And then I'll let you know when time is up. Okay, you can begin now.
I like Shadow the Hedgehog, and I really like it because it's got good gameplay mechanics. Yes, the mission system sucks, and the story is just, I mean, it's kind of good, but it really, but doesn't make sense at most parts. But I like the guns, I like the gameplay, and the music is good too. And it's cool that you get to fight Sonic along with the Robo Boss. And it was the first game I've had where there was cursing in it, despite its mild cursing.
Okay, your minute is up. Actually, I kind of like Shadow the Hedgehog too. I think he's a better character than Sonic. Even though he was made by committee and made to be an edgelord, I kind of like him more than Sonic the Hedgehog. But then again,
Yeah, he's somewhat more interesting.
Here's the thing, okay? They try too hard to make Sonic the Hedgehog cool for the 90s. But Shadow is just, Shadow is full jumping the shark. Because even though he's faster than Sonic, he rides on a motorcycle. Even though he's got chaos control, which is way better than Super Sonic, he fucking uses guns. I'm like, what? Basically Shadow the Hedgehog is so stupid that it comes back around to being cool again. that's what I like about Shadow the Hedgehog.
That's probably why I don't go for Shadow myself. I mean, if anything, he emphasizes everything that you would say is so edgy that it cuts itself and looks like a round ball.
I can understand
if
it.
That makes sense.
I can understand it, but that's my.
I mean, if something jumps the shark, how the heck can you take it seriously?
I don't know.
Well, I did take it seriously. I mean, I'm certain when I played it, but yeah.
I mean, but that's my thing. I kind of do like. I kind of do like the fact that he's kind of he's so ridiculous that it comes back around to not being ridiculous. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the thing that bugs me. I mean, it's so obvious that it jumps the shark that it kind of makes me wonder, really?
But that's what I like. I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. They're going to be like, "How could you?"
I'm not mad. I'm just confused. Or like, how the heck can you see that this is not a shark jumped?
I don't know. Just for some reason, I like how ridiculous the character is. Um, like
Yeah, that's
I like how ridiculous. I like how ridiculous. Like Shadow is so ridiculous that it comes back around to being cool. Where Sonic is trying too hard to be cool. Like Sonic the Hedgehog is like your uncle when you were a like your uncle from like the early '90s who had a Camaro and a ponytail and an earring in one ear, and he was cool. And then you get older and you realize that like he's too old to dress like that. His ponytail is like which used to be he used to have a full head of hair and now he's balding on top, but he's still got that fucking ponytail. And he's kind of fat. The Camaro is old and kind of broken down, but he's still driving it with the top down. It's like, dude, you're sad. Stop. Grow up. Grow up. But it's like he peaked in 1983 and he never stopped trying to be the same he was in 1983. And that's basically how Sonic the Hedgehog feels. It's like he peaked in Sonic Adventure for a lot of people and he never moved beyond that. Like it's like, come on, bro. Got to do something
Adventure
different.
2 for me.
Well, whatever. Like I'm like, you got to do better. You got to change it up. You got to do something different. Like Nintendo's your lame ass uncle who wears basically the same type of shit every time, but he's so lame that it's become a style unto itself. That's Mario. It's like, you're lame, but I love you. You know, whereas Sonic's like, you're trying too hard, dude. Stop trying so goddamn hard. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes the way to be cool is to not be cool. Sometimes not being cool can be cool.
Yeah, basically.
People who try to be cool, and people who try so hard to be cool end up not being cool.
Yeah, that's basically
That works.
that's basically Nintendo. They're like, I mean, that's basically Nintendo. Nintendo's not trying to be cool, so when they finally do something that's cool, it's cool because they weren't trying. Whereas Sony is trying so damn hard
to be cool. Yeah, the problem with Sony is they seem to always be chasing these trends rather than creating their own.
Yeah. But that's just my own personal opinion. I know some people would disagree with me on that one, but that's just me.
Anyone else?
Anyone else want to do their unpopular opinion?
I got a bit of a opinion, though I'm not sure if it's unpopular or not.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, wait, let me get the timer ready. Okay, go.
It's sad for me to actually say that it's sad to see people not wanting game manuals in their games, like either physical or at least something that comes along with the game itself. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to know how the game works and maybe get a little lore in it too. And it's kind of sad seeing that reading before you play the game is kind of going out of the way, like the dodo.
Yeah. You done?
Sadly, yes. I'm not sure if I had much time left.
You had 16 seconds. You didn't use it. Look, I'll let you know because I have the timer. I agree with you. I remember when I was a kid, I would get a game, and like even if I couldn't play the game, I would open it like from the store. I would open it and read the manual. On the car ride back home, I would read the manual. That was fun. Like I'd get a game, and even if I couldn't play it, I'd read the manual to discover like how to play it or what the things are. And I'll keep this real. Nintendo had some of the best manuals for their first-party games back in the day. Like the manual for Super Mario World and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Fucking awesome. Artwork was great.
Books, right? Those are sweet books, right?
Well, I mean, basically, yeah, the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past manual was like almost 40, 24 pages on the SNES. It was damn near a small magazine, and the art was amazing. I'm so mad that I lost that thing because that was a really great fucking game.
A very quick little side note, and this is going to be about my last seconds here. If you want to get rid of the manuals for your games, then please, for the love of RCS, give us beeping tutorials that work.
Yeah, a lot of games don't really have tutorials. So I'm like, okay, you're getting rid of manuals, but you don't have tutorials either. Or if you do have tutorials, they're very bare bones and they don't really tell you what's going on. Yeah, I agree. Manuals, they need to bring back manuals. I know some people are going to get angry, but here's the way I feel about it. If your dumbass can't read, you shouldn't be playing video games either. You need to learn how to read. If you don't like reading, you need to go learn. You need to learn to read first, and then you can play video games afterwards. That's how I feel. I know that's unpopular, but that's my opinion.
As I said, the game manual is something that I thought was a more divisive thing than most others, but I wasn't sure about it.
No, I think some younger gamers now are starting to miss manuals. They're like, man, I wish this came with something. Oh, well, you guys didn't fight for it when they were getting rid of them, so, see, look, the more shit you let someone get away with, the more shit they can get away with. If you hold them accountable when they start fucking up the first time, instead of just letting the shit slide, you would still have manuals. But people don't think like that. Kenoshi, you have an unpopular opinion you want to share?
Yeah, not this time around.
All right. I guess it's my turn. My unpopular opinion.
Star Fox Zero?
No. My unpopular opinion is not about Star Fox Zero. My unpopular opinion is about let's see what. Oh, yes. My unpopular opinion is about gaming in general. I don't think. Here's my unpopular opinion about gaming in general. This is every company. I think that actually, let me get the timer started so people won't, because got to adhere to the rules. Here's my unpopular opinion. I think that retro gaming is not a bad thing, but here's the thing. These companies like Nintendo, like Sega, like Microsoft, like Sony, won't make their past libraries available to people like they used to. Nintendo's basically their online, their SNES and NES online libraries are fucking jokes. Sony's PSN lineup of old games, they got some good games there, but a lot of them are missing. Microsoft, if you want to play the original Crackdown, good luck. If you want to play the original Saints Row, good luck. I think both, all these companies need to be better with their past library of games. And I'm not saying there needs to be true backwards compatibility. I don't think people should need to get the old cartridges, but they need to make them available somehow. That's my unpopular opinion. Anyone have any
Yeah, I felt like there are enough games with the Virtual Console with Wii and Wii U.
What?
I felt like there were enough old games with the Wii and Wii U.
I mean, that's your opinion. Here's the thing, okay? I think that I think having access to these games from back in the day is more important now than ever, because gamers who are just getting into gaming this generation or the previous generation, they need to see where games came from in order to appreciate or not appreciate where they are now. Right?
Right.
And I think having virtual consoles, having access to these old games, having collections of these old games is a good thing, and I think, Nintendo, Sega, Sony, they need to go. And now that Microsoft is 4 consoles in now, they need to have a past library of games. And I don't mean this shit where they're like, well, you can play these old games. Literally, you need to be able to play these old games easily and effectively on your current gen hardware. That's just me.
Yeah, there really does need to be a way. And, I don't fault people for emulation. I mean, when Persona 4 came out on PC, I think there were people like, hey, look, I don't need to use my emulator to play this game. I'll pick it up. People happily buy these games if they make them available. People will be like, yeah, I'll buy, Super Mario Sunshine or some classic GameCube game came onto the Switch tomorrow. Thousand Year Door came onto the Switch tomorrow. People would happily buy it. They would buy it. They'd be like, hey, I don't need to really use the emulator anymore.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I would never use an emulator for. I would never use an emulator for.
For GameCube games.
I would never use an emulator for N64 or GameCube, not because I'm against emulation, but because there isn't a really good emulator for those games. Like, even if you have a Dynamite PC, there are certain games on the N64 that if you try to emulate them, even with the best emulators available, it's not going to run properly.
It's kind of a disaster.
It's a crapshoot, is what I'm saying.
Oof.
And I'm not, why would I want to play the worst version of a game? And I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. They're going to be like, what do you mean?
I was about to say, your mileage may vary depending on which version.
The PS2 emulator is pretty bad too. It's not as accurate. Like, with some games it's more accurate than it is others. Like some of the first party games, it's not super accurate. But yeah, a lot of the 3D emulators, like your PS2s, GameCubes, even more recent consoles like the PS3, 360, and the Wii U are pretty. You need a really good CPU to at least make the games playable, for one thing.
But like I said, yeah, it's I'm not really. Well, I mean, I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. Like, how could you say that? Look, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you how I feel. All right?
Could have been worse.
Like, it's just not what it should be. But yeah, that's my unpopular opinion. These retro games need to be. And here's the thing. I know some people say, well, you have the Virtual Console on the Wii and the Wii U and the 3DS. Yeah, but that's only for Nintendo games. And some for the 3DS, I think it was a lot of handheld consoles were ported over, and some of the legacy SNES games. But I think every company needs to have a quality virtual console style arrangement where you can play those old games. Because here's the thing, I don't want to emulate this shit. I want to be able to play these games the way, like, as close to their original thing. And look, I have all the old shit, but I don't want to have to drag out my old consoles every time I want to fucking play a game. That's unreasonable.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean.
How is it? I mean, like, I play my Wii sometimes.
It's just a hassle. I don't have, a ton of space, and I have old systems too that I don't really feel like digging out.
Look, man, I have the space, but I just don't feel like hooking up all these fucking consoles to a TV all the goddamn time to play a game.
especially when some of the connections to the consoles are retro as F.
Yeah, you can't replay Atari.
Yeah, I mean, like their TVs, like if anything from like the fourth gen, for anything that uses like if you don't have a TV that has basic RCA connection, like if it doesn't have that, if it's like a purely HD TV these days, you can't watch your shit.
Yeah.
So or you have to like yesterday I ordered a Hyperkin converter, HD converter for my GameCube, because playing Origami King made me really want to play Thousand Year Door. But the problem is that
It's the retro as F.
no, the problem is that my tube TV is dying, and they don't make that model anymore. So it looks like shit on my tube TV. So, and I tried playing it on my big screen TV that's kind of like a hybrid between the two, but it wants to HD everything. The signal's all fucked up. So I bought this. So now I can play my games regardless of what's going on. But that's all I'm saying. So, anyone else have anything else they want to say before we wrap things up? Nothing? Anything anyone wants to pimp out?
I enjoyed this video.
All right. Thank you. I try. So I guess that's the end of the podcast.
If anything, if you want to get in touch with us, there's various ways. There's email, there's Twitter, and Discord.
That is correct. And as a matter of fact, if you want to get in touch with the cast, you can reach me at Mr. RedFoxBSBusters@gmail.com or at Matthew Wesley at Mr. RedFox91. Or there's a link in the description of the video for our Discord server. You can join and become a member of the Discord. So that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace, good night, and
Write responsibly, ladies and gentlemen, and don't forget to wash your beeping hands.